All right, so now that it is the top of the hour, let's get jamming. Okay, so thanks for joining me. My name's Ashley Stahl. Some of you maybe have found me through my TED Talk or maybe through my Forbes column. I'm also the founder and the creator of the Limitless Career Lab. I want to welcome you again to my live online workshop called 4 Weeks to Land the Job You Love. If you want to master the job hunt and get paid what you're worth, you are so in the right place. So you really want to pay attention and stick around until the very end. And I know how important it is to you that you get that new job you love. So this would be the perfect time to silence your cell phones, make sure your volume's up, and that you have a really quiet space to focus. This training is going to be a content-packed, incredibly full hour. We are going to cover 4 areas that you can really focus on to get that new job you love. What I'll be sharing is not your average advice. I'm very different in my approaches, and so I'm really excited to show you what's possible in your job hunt when you do things differently. So the first thing we're going to talk about is resume. Really big deal. We obviously want your first impressions to be powerful with recruiters. The second thing is networking, how to have more conversations that turn into job interviews. The third is the job interviews. And the fourth is salary negotiation. And I see there's some of you who are just joining me now. And so if you didn't catch me mention this just a couple seconds ago at the beginning, if you share this training on Facebook or Twitter, if you share that you're on this free training with me and we get at least 10 shares throughout the next hour on social media, hashtag Ashley Stahl, I'm going to give away a free checklist for you to master that job hunt and get that new job within the next 4 weeks. So this would be perfect timing to share this on social media. I wrote a sample share here, so you can just copy this, joining career coach Ashley Stahl on her free training to learn career tips and resume tricks. Join at landmorejoboffers.com, hashtag Ashley Stahl. So we can tweet this out, you can Facebook this out. My team is keeping track. So yeah, make sure you have that hashtag of Ashley Stahl so we can find it and count it so that if we get those 10 shares, everybody gets a free checklist. It's super comprehensive for you to master the job hunt. So I just want to thank those of you who have already shared. Thank you. You're helping me spread the word. This is what my heart is all about, and it means a lot to me that you share it. And as you'll notice, this stuff means a lot to me. So as I said, we're first going to take a look at your resume. I'm going to share some of my very best tricks to make it stand out in the pile. And here's why your resume is so important. First of all, the average amount of time a recruiter will spend on your resume is 6 tiny seconds. You've got barely any time to stand out, and you've got to use it well. So we're going to talk about how you can do that. The second piece I want to share with you is that talent screening software. So that's that application portal you see when you're applying for jobs online. It screens half of resumes before they even make it to a real human being. So if you're applying for jobs online right now, you're half the time not even making it to a real person. So how you write that resume really matters as far as getting you through that portal. All right, is the sound okay for everybody? Everybody just type yes if it's good. Making sure. Yes? Okay, perfect. Good. Great. All right. And the third thing I just want to share with you is that the recruiters receive an average job opening or average range of 118 to 250 resumes per job opening in this economy. So that's bad news. Needless to say, you've got to stand out. You really have to stand out with this. The second thing we're going to cover is networking. I plan to tell you how you can start having more networking conversations, and even more importantly, I'm going to share what you can do right now to instantly turn those conversations into job interviews. So needless to say, here's why this is a big deal for your job hunt. First of all, we live in a world right now where 80% of jobs don't get posted. So this means if you're applying for jobs online right now, you're only reaching 20% of what's actually available to you in the job market. And if you caught what I mentioned about resumes getting screened by talent software, you know now that when you apply for jobs online, half of them don't even make it to a human, just due to the way that the software works. And I just can't help but ask you, out of my own curiosity, Who here is willing to admit, and you could just type guilty in the box, that their main strategy for their job hunt is applying for jobs? I would love to know, like, who is guilty of most of their, all right, at least everybody's honest. Thanks, Allison, Jennifer, Ashley, Sasha, Carolina. Awesome. At least you guys are an honest bunch. That's totally fine. And I'm going to give you some strategies to really get out of that so that you can use your time to be a little more effective, because I'm all about results and you making more money, as you should. So, needless to say, if your main job hunting strategy is to apply for jobs online, you definitely want to pay attention when I get into this piece, because truly you're only reaching about 10% of the job market. It's probably the worst strategy for you to lean on because it doesn't work. That's all. It just doesn't really work. For some people it does. I'm always amazed. I'm always impressed when people get through. And again, you're only reaching about 10% of the job market once you go through that talent software. So it's probably the worst strategy for you to lean on. I want to show you how you can get to that 80% of jobs that aren't posted. Those are the jobs you want, and that means you've got a network. I also want to talk to you about how you can get the most out of your networking efforts, because let's be honest, most people make the mistake of networking only with family and friends. And you know what? I just want to ask as well about that. Like, who here is your main strategy just networking with family and friends? Who can honestly say, like, this is kind of the extent of your networking? Okay, I see quite a few of you. Oh no, somebody wrote, I don't have friends. That's not true. You've got to have friends. I'll be your friend. All right, so there's nothing wrong with that. It's a start. But here's the deal. It's often the people you don't know. It's often total strangers who are in the best position to hire you for your dream job. Like, how often is it the case where your friend's dad just so happens to be the hiring manager for your dream job? Never, right? That's why you've got to learn how to connect with people who are total strangers. And just tune in, take some notes today. I'm planning to share with you how you can turn strangers into high-level contacts who can really help you get job interviews and hence job offers. The third base we are going to cover today is your job interviews, particularly that question that we all hate the most. What's your biggest weakness? What's your biggest weakness? There's so many different types of curveball questions that I help my clients in the Limitless Career Lab master. And it's so beyond important that you've got a handle on them. But here's the deal. 33% of all hiring managers know within 90 seconds. So it takes them a minute and a half. They know if they want to hire you. And I'm sure that as the seconds creep on, that percentage just got to skyrocket. So needless to say, first impressions count, and I want you to be able to nail it with the tough interview questions. The next topic, my favorite topic that I give the most information on, is salary negotiation. As a career coach, I care the most about people actually having a result, whether that's a job offer or more money they're making or both. And that's why we're going to spend some time on this, how to handle the money conversation so that you get paid what you're worth. And more importantly, you avoid some of the most common mistakes that I'm seeing job seekers make. So these are mistakes that cost them thousands of dollars in income. And here's some fun facts about salary negotiation. Those who don't negotiate lose out on $500,000 of income in their lives, in their careers. That's $16,000 a year for 30 years. When you know how to negotiate, it's not uncommon at all for you to be able to negotiate for that extra $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 a year. And to be honest, I've seen data even pointing to $1 million throughout your career. So that's a pretty considerable number. In some cities, that's a house. I see a lot of New Yorkers on the line. Maybe that's a studio apartment. Depends on where you live. That's a lot of money. The second point I wanted to share is that 25% of those who negotiate their salary get even more than they expected. I love that. I mean, come on, the odds are ever in your favor. A little bit of Hunger Games for you. In fact, only 15% of people who try to negotiate get nothing for it. So again, the odds are in your favor. I just got to spice things up with a little Hunger Games. This affirms really how important it is for you to learn how you can talk money, especially when you're asked about it early on in the interview process. So that's why we are going to cover all of this. And I'm going to share with you exactly what you need to say, the exacts of what you need to say to be able to really get that raise before you sign the dotted line. So I'm going to share everything I can over the next 60 minutes we have together. And at the end, I want to share a system that you can use that will help you get results even faster. Is that okay with you? You could just type yes in the chat box. Let me know if that's okay. Awesome. Thanks so much, because it might put us over by a minute or two. And I don't want to take advantage of your time. I want to make sure I'm respecting your hour. All right, let's jam. So if you have a pen and pad out, great. You can see I have the little Twitter, Facebook share copy right there, joining career coach Ashley Stahl, blah, blah, blah. You can share that right now on Facebook or Twitter if you haven't shared on social media. So yeah, if you have a pen and pad out, awesome. Also, submit any questions you have in the questions box. And if the sound goes down, if you can't see slides, let me know in the questions box. It's just between you and I. Nobody sees it. And at the end of this training, if we have time, I'm going to try to answer all your questions. And if you stay to the end, I want to thank you for being here with me by giving you as my gift a free guide on how to make over your LinkedIn profile. So if you stay to the end, you're going to get this free guide. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm in the twilight zone every now and again when I do a webinar. So it means a lot to me when people stick around. And I also want to thank you for sharing this on social media. So again, if we get 10 shares tonight and you can see, or throughout this training, you can see that I have the copy right there. You're going to get a free checklist for you to master the job hunt. That's what I'm all about. I love the bonuses. That's just how I roll when it comes to, I'm all about party favors. All right. So for those of you who don't really know me, I wanted to briefly, just for a minute, share a bit about my story so that you get kind of a grasp of who the heck this random chick is who's talking to you about your career. So I want to share a bit about my story before we get into all this stuff that we have to cover. I'm a national security counterterrorism professional turned career and business coach to 20 and 30-somethings all over the world. I write for Forbes every single week on the topic of careers and job hunting. And I'm so lit up about this life where I get to go on speaking tours all over the globe to speak to audiences about finding your purpose, landing job offers, and launching service-based businesses. So, in short, my work, and I say this with a full heart, my work is dedicated to you. Like every single freaking one of you on this training, you're why I'm here. If you didn't show up for this, I'd have nothing to do. My purpose in the world is to share this. And I want to be of service to you. So yeah, you're why I'm here. You're why I'm doing this work. I'm here because I believe that job seekers, when they do it right, have the world as their oyster. I believe that the only thing that's standing between you and that job you deserve is the know-how of how to get job offers. And I'm so appreciative that outlets have taken interest in my message, that I've shared this with Wall Street Journal, Self Magazine, Bloomberg, TED, ABC, Fox, Time, the list goes on. I think it's really awesome that these sorts of outlets really, really care about this topic. Because when I was lost in my job hunt 7 years ago, nobody really cared about fresh graduates. There wasn't a lot out there about this being an issue. But let me tell you something, and I say this really, really honestly. I wasn't always that successful. And I say that because I really get it if you feel that way. I really, really wasn't. In fact, when I graduated with my degree in government, I moved home to Los Angeles, and I planned to apply for jobs online so that I could move to DC and land my dream job. And I'm not even joking. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I wanted to land my dream job as a spy in the CIA. And believe me, I did everything to prepare myself for this. I applied and I applied and I applied, and holler at me if you get this. The most I heard back was an automated rejection email. So that was really, really devastating for me. Who here can relate to that? Who here is kind of in the hell of automated rejection emails? Oh my gosh, they're the worst. Everybody's relating. They suck. Yeah. Who wants them? I thought I did everything right to set myself up for this career. You know, I learned the Arabic. I studied at a top school for international relations. I took on every internship under the sun. And I started feeling a hopelessness that I honestly have never in my life felt before. And I would love to hear from you in the chat box. Like, who here has gone through this? It gives me the chills, like, even right now, as I'm still kind of reliving it by just talking about it. You know, this depression that I felt in my job hunt, it was like an identity crisis depression. I've never felt that in my whole life. I've never felt that low before. Like, it was depression, you know, like I've never experienced something like that. And I would love to know, like, who's at that level right now? Okay. I see we have so many of you: Jackie, Ann, Avery. Oh my gosh, Sasha, Sarah, Mackenzie. Yep, Lolita. I get you. I've been there. There's so many more. Lindsay. There's so many of you who can relate. And I hope that those of you who are listening, like, realize that you're in company. Not that misery wants company, but misery has company right now. And I would really love to know the truth from you. And please don't even type to me unless you're serious, because I want, yep, this is the chat box, Pamela. So yeah, if you're, you know, I really want the truth from you. Who basically, and only type yes if you're really serious, who here would pretty much give anything to turn their situation around if they could? That's exactly where I was. Who here would honestly give anything? Yeah, April, I see you. Angela, Lauren, Stephanie, Penny, Sarah, Mackenzie, Anne. Yeah, like, I get it. I would have given my freaking left arm over this. I was so devastated. I would have sold my car. Like, if I could have bought my way into a career, I would have. I would have sold everything I had. And, you know, I really just wanted to get this sorted. I wanted a magic pill. And I know how you feel. It can be really, really hard. So, after applying for jobs online in Washington, D.C., I eventually surrendered and took a dead-end job in L.A. at home, making $30K a year. So I don't know about you, but living in Los Angeles, $30K is not going to cut it. By the time I paid my college loans, my car insurance, my gas, my groceries, I could barely even think about paying rent. You know, my parents had to help me, and they weren't happy about that after they helped me pay for my education, and I took out some loans as well. So I don't know, like, who here is in the college loan hell? Like, I would love to know who kind of, college, it's a special type of hell, only reserved for certain people who can understand it. It really is. And there was, you know, the worst part about all of this is that there was no room to grow my job. So it wasn't even like I could be like, oh my God, I'm struggling, but I have this awesome job. It's totally fine because I have an awesome job. It's worth it to struggle. No, there was no room to grow my job. And my employer didn't really value me that much. I don't think they really saw my potential. I'm not really in blame about it. It's just what it is. So I started to kind of hate Mondays, honestly. That's the only way I could put it. And the highlight of my world was probably girls' night because I just get my mind off of things. And if I'm being really honest with you, and I bet you there's a couple of you, I would love to know who can relate to this because this is another level. I couldn't even enjoy girls' night most of the time, like, really, because I was too freaking broke for it. Like, I was too broke for girls' night. And, you know, my friends even kind of felt bad for me. Like, they would offer to pick up my dinner tab. I felt like a total freeloader. So when I did go, I didn't want to talk about myself because I wasn't interested to share how horrible my career looked. So I would just kind of listen to everybody else talk about their lives, their work days, their careers, the money they were making, the joy that they had in their jobs, the possibility they felt. Meanwhile, I would just sit there feeling ridiculously small, you know, really small. And I'm sure some of you really can relate to that. Yeah, and if you're typing into the chat box and you're wondering, yes, you are in the right box. A lot of you are like, is this the chat box? Yep, I can see you. So yeah, honestly, I didn't really think there was a way out. I thought that having a horrible, mediocre career was kind of going to be my new normal. And I bought into the myth, and let me tell you, these are myths, that because I had such little experience, I had to work my way up. Or because I was so desperate, I would just need to take a job to get my foot in the door. I didn't know it at the time, but taking a job to get my foot in the door is a horrible career move. And here's why. When you take a job to get your foot in the door, here's what happens. You come in and say to yourself, I'm going to get this awesome, new job. Once they see how great I am, they're going to help me get what I really want. No, what happens is the employer starts to think it's not broken. Why fix it? She's doing a great job being a coordinator or an assistant or whatever it is that you're doing. And they start to think to themselves, like, why move her? And they start to kind of pigeonhole you in that role, and they start hiring people to do the jobs you actually want. This is what happens when you take a job to get your foot in the door. Not a good move, and I'm going to share with you how you can get out of that pattern. It is settling for less, so don't do that. And there's this one day in my admin job where I kind of was looking online, just kind of zoning, and I saw that there was a career fair happening in Washington, D.C. And this really reminded me, not that I'd forgotten, about my dream to join the CIA. And it wasn't much later than that I made the choice to move to Washington, D.C. And I went online to look at resume samples, and I did exactly what they told me to do on all these career websites, and it didn't freaking work. Nothing worked. So I went to a lot of networking events, and after a lot of trial and error, asking people to pass my resume, asking people for connections, talking about my job hunt. Believe it or not, these are errors, and I'm going to talk to you later about how you can get out of that. I totally fell on my face. I felt like everything I did in my job hunt was a struggle. My resume was going into cyberspace. People looked at me like I was a hot mess when I tried networking with them. No one would offer to help me. And just when I was about to give up, just when I least expected it, everything completely shifted for me. I met some really inspiring power women in DC. And when I asked them about their success, they kept going on and on about how they have coaches that help them in their careers. And it's these coaches that help them become more successful. And last I'd have checked, the only type of coach I'd ever heard of at the time was a sports coach, like for a soccer game or a hockey tournament. So I didn't really know what they were talking about. The whole career coach idea kind of baffled me. But let me tell you, their advice changed my life, and it totally changed my career. And I started to learn that there was my own system that I started to use, a step-by-step system that led me to get a flood of job interviews and then 3 job offers in 6 weeks. And then I leveraged all of them to triple my salary and accept an offer to run a program for the Pentagon. So I literally went from an executive assistant to a high-paid executive in 1 6-week job hunt. And I want to show you in this training some of the strategies that I use to make this leap, because believe me, I know that it's possible for you too. And I get so bothered when people don't see it, because I see it. And guess what? This was the first time I'd ever used my own system in my job hunt, and it took 6 weeks to get results. Now I would be so much faster knowing what I know. It would be 4 weeks. And I just want to ask, how would it change your life if you could look at the calendar and in 4 weeks from now, you could have a totally different job that pays you well to be you? How would that make a difference in your life? Because I don't doubt that it would. Heaven, somebody wrote, girl, that's really funny. Girl, it would make a difference. Yeah, you could help your parents. You could pay your rent. You could, you could just be happier. And it bleeds into every area of your life. So, given that in one tiny job hunt, I'd made my way into a management job, making 6 figures with such little work experience, friends started seeking me out for advice on their job hunt, and I got so much joy from showing them my step-by-step chronological process that I used to get all these job interviews. And the more that my friends would listen, the more that they would get job interviews that popped up for them. And they told me I should be a career coach, and to be honest, I thought that sounded completely ridiculous. Who was I when I was so young to be coaching anyone when I didn't even know what was going on in my career? All I knew how to do was be a great job hunter. Meanwhile, I'm winning awards for my work in national security, top 99 under 33 foreign policy leader, power 30 under 30 leader. But something inside of me knew that there was something deeper for me. And when I was helping people, even when I had that fancy job with the Pentagon, I lit up inside, and there was no joy bigger in my career, in my life, than helping people get job offers. And so eventually I faced the music and decided that, being a career coach almost wasn't a choice. It chose me. So here are some of the people that I help make a really big difference from with my step-by-step process. Meet Christy Seamson. She found me after she got an MBA. She was job hunting for a year. She got 7 job interviews and a new job in 6 weeks. So she's a coordinator now at a fashion label. And then we have Jessica, who just makes my heart sing. She got a 156% salary hike within 4 weeks of joining my program. So it just goes to show when you take action, a lot is possible. You also have Lauren Hutnick, whose dream was to move to LA, and she had no idea how she was going to do it. 8 weeks in, she got an offer at The Honest Company, which was totally her dream job. And she got the offer in hand before she moved to LA. So by using all the practices in my Limitless Career Lab program. So these women are just living proof of what you really can do. And I'm telling you, I am not going to sleep until you get it, because it's really true. But don't take my word for it. Lauren was kind enough to encourage me to share with you herself.
After the Limitless Career Lab, I got a new job. I found my dream job. I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast and increased my salary by 40%.
And take a look at this graph. This totally blew my mind. Here's my big why of why this work really matters to me. So as you can see here, the income you make in your 20s and your 30s really sets the tone for the income that you are going to make throughout the course of your life. It really sets the tone that you're going to make throughout the course of your entire life. So if you start your career in the 30K range, you're going to level out from there. But if you look at me in my early 20s, I had that jump start at 6 figures. It changed my whole life, my whole income potential. And guess what? If you're in your 30s or 40s, you don't have any time to waste. So we're about to dive into a ton of content, and I just want to know in the question box, like, which one of these are you? This is going to kind of help me tailor the content as I move forward. All right, so number 1, are you stuck in your job hunt? Maybe you're tired of applying for jobs, never hearing back, wondering if something is even wrong with you, perhaps. I've been there. Or maybe you're underpaid. Maybe you feel undervalued by your employer. Or number 3, there's no room to grow in your job. You're looking around wondering what the point is of even showing up every day. You're not growing. You're just stagnant. Or maybe you feel like you did everything right. You did everything they told you to do. You went to school, you got your degree, you followed the rules, and you're still not getting the success that you were promised. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not your fault. There's a reason you're struggling with that, and it's because we were never taught to write a resume like a professional writer. We're never told in college or at any point how to network effectively, and we certainly were never told how to talk about money. I would love to know, is there anybody here who feels like they were taught how to negotiate salary at a young age? Like who? Yeah, all I see is a bunch of no, and then there's just radio silence. Exactly. So there's a reason you're struggling with that. And in short, at no point do we learn how to job hunt in a way that's effective and brings results. So for the longest time, I thought the problem in my job hunt was me. And it makes me sad. I feel like crying when I say that, because it makes me sad that that's really what I thought. I thought that I was the problem, but it really just was that I didn't really learn or have amazing job hunting skills. That's what I'm here to show you on this training. And everybody is telling you the same horrible advice. Apply for jobs online. Ask people to pass your resume around. Take a job to get your foot in the door. Get lots of business cards at networking events. If that's what you're doing, you're just doing what everybody else is doing. Look, those approaches might have worked 20 years ago, but if you're doing that today, you're not going to get anywhere better than you were yesterday. You're going to keep disappearing into the noise. You're going to get stuck in the job hunting clutter, and you're just going to keep disappearing into that stack that never ends, bringing you further and further away from making a living in life that you honestly deserve. And that's why I'm about to show you differently, how to do it differently. What I teach is unique to everyone out there, and that's why it works. The whole online application networking event approach may have been good for our parents, but it doesn't work now. So I want to ask you, what is it costing you to stay stuck where you are in your life right now? What is it costing you, that feeling in your stomach when it's Sunday night and you have to go to work? The stress of looking at your bank account, knowing you could do better, the hopelessness of being in a job with no room for growth, the feeling that you're wasting time in a job you know isn't a reflection of who you are. If you're anything like I was, your career is hurting your family life, or maybe even your personal relationships. Maybe you can't afford to go out as much with friends, or maybe you're sad because you can't afford a wedding or to have kids. Like, how sad is that our career affects our dreams to have kids? Like, unbelievable, that is, it's like such a loss. And my favorite quote in the world is from Albert Einstein. He said, you cannot solve problems from the same level of thinking that created them. You cannot solve problems from the same level of thinking that created them. If you don't change right now, nothing's going to happen for you. There's a certain level of thinking that got you into the job you have now, into the career you have now, and you need a new level of thinking to get to that next level career for you. So you owe it to yourself to ask yourself this: if I don't change now, what is my career going to look like in a decade? And FYI, studies show that people who hate their job are more likely to gain weight, more likely to get sick, more likely to have relationship problems, and more likely to battle depression. It's not really pretty, and it doesn't have to be like that. You deserve more than that. You can have a job that brings you joy. You can have a job that pays you well, even without much work experience. You can have freedom. You can have a job you love. You can live without that stress of Sunday nights with looming Monday mornings. You can get a job that brings you joy, even if you don't have that much experience. This is all available to you. I believe it because I've lived it. You can be a valued employee in a company that wants to challenge you, wants to support your growth. So here's where we're headed. This is what we're going to focus on. Number 1, resume. Number 2, networking. Number 3, your job interviews. And number 4 is your salary negotiation. So I hope your pen is ready because you've got a lot to write down. All right, just a sip of water. All right, so number 1, we're going to talk about resume. We all know that your resume is important, especially because the harsh reality is that the average amount of time a recruiter will spend on it is 6 seconds. So needless to say, you have a small frame of time to stand out. There are so many reasons why recruiters throw resumes into the trash. And for that reason, resume is something I cover very extensively with clients in my Limitless Career Lab program. So given that we have such limited time together today and we can't get into all of it, I want to share 3 of the most powerful secrets I have for an effective resume. So the first one is your first bullet needs to be your very best bullet. Perhaps you saw me share this with you in any sort of emails leading up to this training. It's so powerful. I want to get into the depth of it. Here's the truth about recruiters. They don't read every bullet on your resume when they're deciding if they should call you in. What they do read is the first bullet under every single job entry on your resume. This leads me to my second strategy. Hang out in the world of results. The first bullet on your resume, and honestly, most of your bullets, should be as results-driven as possible. One of the biggest mistakes that I've ever seen job seekers make is having a resume that's too focused on job description. So while it's important that they know what you do with your day, you want to focus on your accomplishments and you want to lead with that. And this means if 80% of your job responsibilities right now are unglamorous and most of your job involves low-level responsibilities, you're going to want to tune into that 20% of your job that you're more proud of, and you're going to want to write your resume from that headspace. Make your bullets more about the 20% of your job that's glamorous and less about that tedious 80% of your job that you're not so proud of. So as I said, my third secret is to remember it's a marketing document. There's no need to share every single thing you've ever done in your career. Share what positions you as a performer, as a contributor. This means there's no need to have bullets on filing for hours, on scheduling travel for your boss. Like, leave that stuff out. Make it about what really shows your talent. And when writing your resume, ask the question, and this is one of my favorite tips: so what? Like, I love looking at that guy's face right there. Like, he's just so doesn't even care. Ask yourself, so what? For every single bullet. Make sure that every single bullet on your resume has a purpose. And we have Danielle Page right here from New York City. When she joined me in my program, she was hearing back from no one on her resume, she told me. And after applying these tweaks, some among others that I share in the Limitless Career Lab, she started to hear back from a majority of the employers that she contacted. So just goes to show you how much can shift. So the second thing I want to share with you is networking. We all know that networking is incredibly important given that 70 to 80% of job offers are secured through networking. But what's key to your effort when you're networking is your elevator pitch. In other words, your answer to the prompt, tell me about yourself. So recruiters confide in me again and again that candidates rarely seize the opportunity to effectively talk about themselves, both in networking and in job interviews. So you're probably wondering, how do you speak about yourself in a way that inspires somebody to offer their help to you? And if I had to boil it down to one key element you can see here, it would be to have an elevator pitch with a goal statement at the very end. So what I mean here is once you get clarity on the kind of job you're hunting for, come up with an effective, well thought out answer to the question, tell me about yourself, and make sure that you have a goal statement at the very end. So it can sound something like this. You can answer the question, tell me about yourself briefly. You can share your big why of why you're doing the work you do. And at the end of your explanation, you'll want to say, at the moment, I'm hoping to transition into, and you say what type of job it is, ideally in the. So for example, at the moment, I'm looking to transition into marketing, ideally in the fashion industry. So when you put it out there like this, it's simple, it's non-confrontational, but it's also really clear. When you end an inspiring elevator pitch, when you talk about yourself and you end it with that goal statement, it goes from interesting to actionable. So this way, people can offer their help if they're inclined, but you're never putting them on the spot and you're never outright asking favors of them. And also, if you notice, I use the word transition. I'm hoping to transition. I don't even utter the word job hunt, the terms job hunt. Why? Because when you reference your job hunt, people subconsciously put their guard up. Like, how many times have you been at a networking event where your guard is kind of up? Like you feel people asking you favors. You don't want to have them putting their guard up. And that's why the word transition is just a lot lighter. I know this sounds very simple, but it really works. We even have Adam here. He's a recent grad of the Limitless Career Lab program. He ended up using this, and he was saying, at the moment, I'm hoping to transition into research, ideally in the national security space. When he said that goal statement, the person responded at a networking event and was like, oh, really? Well, we're hiring for that. Do you want to come in? He got a job just like that. So that kind of expedited success is possible for you too. The goal statement really does incite reactions. This brings me to my next crucial step, which is job interview skills. So the truth of the matter is that recruiters have to sit through way too many job interviews, and it gets to a point where it all kind of becomes a blur for them. And since we have such limited time together today, I wanted to go into at least one thing that can really move the needle in your interviews, and that's knowing how to answer that dreaded question, what's your biggest weakness? So there are so many questions that I hope my clients craft in the Limitless Career Lab program, but I want to really focus on this one. I want to emphasize that your answer should never be something like, I'm a perfectionist and I never stop working until I get things right. This is really key, and I hope you're writing this down. This is truly not a weakness. People are going to see straight through it. So before I dive into showing you exactly how to answer this question, I want you to type into the chat box, help me out here. I'm going to pick one of your weaknesses and I'm going to input it into my formula and use it as a case study for how you answer that question perfectly. Stubborn, time management, argumentative, procrastinating, public speaking, confidence, public speaking. Okay, public speaking seems to be a big one, so I'm going to use that one. All right, so there's 5 key parts to answering this question. And as you can see below, we're just a couple shares away from the free checklist that I promised you guys. So those of you who have hopped on the line later, everybody's getting a free checklist to master the job hunt. If you share this training on social media, there's a sample share down there at the bottom. All right, so here you are. Number 1 is pick a weakness that you've been working on. So in this case, we're going to be using public speaking, but you can use anything. The formula will work. The second step is to tell them how it was a challenge for you in the past. So you can say something like, in the past, public speaking was a huge challenge for me. I would sweat and I'd get incredibly nervous when I knew that I would have to stand and speak in front of a crowd. Number 3, tell them something you've done to work on it and make it better. So perhaps you can say something like, given that I noticed that this was such a huge challenge for me, I signed up for public speaking classes. And number 4, show them how you're making incredible progress. So you could say something like, thanks to my public speaking classes, I've got to admit, public speaking is actually something I'm learning to enjoy. And number 5, show them you're being acknowledged for your impact. So you can say something like, I'm proud to say that my colleagues now tell me I'm one of the best public speakers on the team. And I'm really proud to say that they also put me in front of the client all the time now. So if you're writing this answer down, I will state it one more time. In the past, public speaking was a huge challenge for me. I'd sweat and I'd get incredibly nervous when I knew I'd have to stand and speak in front of a crowd. And then number 3, given that I noticed this was such a huge challenge for me, I signed up for public speaking classes. Number 4, thanks to those classes, I've got to admit, public speaking is actually something I'm learning to enjoy. And number 5, I'm proud to say that my colleagues now tell me I'm one of the best public speakers on the team, and I'm so excited to say they now put me in front of the client all the time. That means a lot to me. So again, great news. I found out that we're just one share away on social media for you to get that free job hunting checklist. So if you haven't already shared, definitely copy this. Joining career coach Ashley Stahl on her free training to learn resume tips. Join at landmorejoboffers.com, #Ashley Stahl. So if there's one more share on Twitter or Facebook, if you write it down into your share box on Twitter or Facebook and share it with your community, we are going to get the checklist across the board. All right, so we have Caitlin here who joined me before she graduated from UC Berkeley, and she was hoping to land job offers abroad and get a visa sponsorship. And it was really fun to see her and her own surprise. She ended up getting multiple firms fighting over her in Europe, and she leveraged multiple job offers and got a huge pay increase. So she's just another example of what's possible when you interview well. All right, so we're going to cover one of my favorite topics. This one's super meaty, and I hope you have your pen ready for it. So when it comes to salary negotiation, one of the biggest mistakes that people can make is going into job interviews with no strategy to talk about money. So who here is guilty of that? Like, who goes in? You could just say that you're guilty. Okay, yep, a lot of you. Well, thanks for being honest, Amy, Anna, Sasha, Elizabeth, Carrie. Yep. Cynthia, Kelsey. Yeah, I see so many of you. I see some fellow Ashleys. Yeah, okay, it's okay. I'm going to give you a strategy today. You're in the right place, and that's what counts. You're taking action. So just know this secret. Point blank, the first person who gives away a number always loses. This is really important. The first person who gives away a number always loses. So you're probably wondering, what do you do when you're on the spot and you're asked about money in the initial job interview process? And the question usually sounds like, what are your salary requirements? That's the dreaded question. And you want to be able to say, I'm negotiable depending on the range you're offering. My first priority is finding the right fit. Now, that's really important what I just said, so definitely be writing that down. I'm negotiable depending on the range you're offering. My first priority is finding the right fit. Here's the deal. You don't want to play hardball with money until they want you. If you give a number outright, you're either going to undervalue yourself and lose money, or you're going to aim too high and price yourself out. So while I cover the nuances of salary negotiation for hours with my clients in the Limitless Career Lab coaching program, this statement alone is going to give you way more leverage in your negotiation process. And another key ingredient with salary negotiation is to always do your research online. Always know what companies are paying their people at different levels of responsibility. And it's important that you don't stop there. You should also want to research what what company competitors are paying their staff. So this allows you to know the market compensation rates, what that position or level of responsibility you're looking to take on is valued at in the job market. And this is also great if perhaps the company you want to work at has no salaries posted. So you can still check out their competitors to get a great idea on it. And there's a couple really cool resources, by the way, that I teach my students to use to find out salaries. But we're getting short on time. So if I have time at the end during Q&A, just remind me about this and I'll share with you about those resources for you to find salary. So what do you do if you say you're negotiable and the interviewer still pushes you for a number? You're going to want to already have done your research on the company salaries where you want to work, as well as on the salaries from that company's competitors, so that you already have a range in mind for them. Again, you're only going to talk numbers if you're pushed. And here's what to do. In your research, I highly recommend considering the top third of the ranges you're finding. So if you want a manager job and you're seeing that they pay 55 to 70K, take that top third, that 65 to 70K into mind. And if you say you're negotiable depending on the range and the interviewer looks at you and says, okay, great, but can you give me a range? You're going to want to remember that top third of the ranges that you saw. And you're going to want to say, I'm being considered for positions in the range of X to Y, 65 to 70K, but again, I'm negotiable. When you say the words I'm being considered for, you are putting a value in your head in the market beyond your own opinion. It implies that other employers see you through the lens of that number, and that is really, really powerful. So there's honestly so much more I cover in my program about the nuances of salary negotiation, what to say, how to handle it when salary is allegedly non-negotiable. But I know that this is a great starting point. Wow, we've covered a lot so far, and there's still a lot to go. And I so appreciate you for the Facebook and Twitter shares. Those who are here will be getting that job hunt checklist within the next 48 hours via email. So congrats on that party favor. That's where the party's at. Also, remember, those who stay to the end, the Q&A portion, are also going to be getting a guide to make over your LinkedIn profile. So definitely stick around to the very end if you can so that you can get that too. So needless to say, 60 minutes just isn't enough time to cover everything I've learned, but I really believe in delivering as much value as I can. So have you learned, I just want to ask, have you learned at least one thing here that you think is going to help you moving towards your next job? And if so, just type yes. That makes me so happy. Thanks, Jennifer, Jessica, Amanda, Kimberly, Sarah, Chris, Michael, Matt, Elizabeth, Liz. Wow, Amy, thank you. Shannon, Allison, Heather, great. This totally lights my heart on fire. Nothing worse than sitting here and feeling like nobody's getting anything out of it. All right, so do you remember at the beginning I told you I'd deliver as much as I could in this short period of time, and that I also promised at the beginning I'd share a system that will help you do this faster and easier? All right, well, I always keep my promises, so let me tell you about the Limitless Career Lab. So you are watching this training, you've been listening for almost 45 minutes, and you know that with just the right tweaks, just the right step-by-step system, and just the right mentorship, you could get the results you want. And that's why I created the Limitless Career Lab intensive program for people just like you, and honestly, people just like me back when I wanted a job I love, a job that appreciated me, a job that allowed room for growth, a job that paid me well. So I'm going to share why the Limitless Career Lab is totally unique, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, or you're in your 40s, if you're looking to get your next job. And you're not going to be able to learn this anywhere else. In fact, the one thing that I've learned, often having seen what everybody else is teaching in my experience, is that it's outdated. So over the course of 4 weeks, those who join me in the Limitless Career Lab are going to get 8 modules, 3 tutorials, and a comprehensive workbook with exercises. So you can either join me and the group at our pace of 2 modules per week, or you can join me You could do this course at your own pace. Overall, there's about 10 hours of instruction throughout the modules, and 80% of my clients are getting a job offer within 8 weeks. 80%. So, let's talk about what you get when you join me. In week 1, you're going to receive 2 modules. The first module is about clarity, which you'll get immediate access to when you register, right when you register. And it's all about how to get even more laser clear on what jobs are out there for you, what jobs are the best fit for you. And it includes a tutorial about how to learn which jobs are out there, both in your niche and in other niches perhaps you haven't considered before. The second module you're going to get in week 1 is all about your elevator pitch. You're going to learn how to answer the question, tell me about yourself perfectly, how to talk about yourself in a way that inspires people to help you get job interviews. And in week 2, we're going to complete our foundational training with module 3, which is all about writing a resume like a pro, branding yourself like a thought leader. And then module 4, a few days later in week 2, which is all about how to write a cover letter that kicks employers off the fence about you. And then in week 3, this is where the rubber really hits the road. It's all about writing your it's all about targeted networking. So module 5, we're going to talk about targeted networking, which comes with a tutorial on how to get in touch with the exact people who are in a position to hire you for the job you want. And in module 6, this is one of my absolute favorites. It's about cold networking, how to write the perfect cold email that lands you the meetings that are going to change your career. So this is where I start to hear all the time about job offers coming in. As I said, 80% of the people in the program get an offer within 8 weeks. I think that this module is really tied to that. And in week 4, we really polish it off with modules 7 and 8, how to be the perfect interview, how to negotiate your salary before you sign the dotted line. And throughout this whole process, I include scripts, templates, and conversations that you can use for your own process. So I believe that you have templates on resume, templates on cover letter, templates on networking conversation, templates on cold emails I've used, salary negotiation dialogue, templates on how to answer interview questions perfectly. My goal is to completely take the guesswork out of your job hunt for you. So there's a lot here to support you. And as I mentioned, 80% of my clients are getting an offer within 8 weeks. So this is only for you if you're serious about getting job offers. This is really only for you if you're feeling serious. If this is not for you, this is not for you if you're not serious about getting job offers. And I'm also about to share some really huge bonuses that you get when you join me. So definitely stay tuned to that. So here's what you get in the course. Module 1, you get instant access when you join me, and it's all about clarity. So in this content-packed training, you're going to learn how to get even more clear on your gifts and talents and how to translate that, how to translate everything that you are into the right jobs for you. You're also going to create a plan for where you're going in your life and your career, as well as a strategy for how you're going to get there. You're also going to get a tutorial on how to use LinkedIn as one of the most unexpected tools for clarity in your career. The exercises and approaches that I share in this tutorial are so powerful and totally unique. You won't be able to find this anywhere else because I developed it through my own experience with helping thousands of clients privately. This is 100% my own unique approach to support you in getting more clear. In week 1, you're going to get module 2 just a few days later, which is all about crafting the perfect elevator pitch. So in this module, you're going to discover how to create an intentional answer to the question, tell me about yourself, an answer that really translates into job interviews and opportunities. You're also going to discover 2 key questions that you should always be asking in a networking conversation. These are questions that lead to job interviews. So, you're going to also learn how to master networking conversations. I'm going to even include a script for you so that you can really kind of just read it and know how every single networking conversation should go. And you're going to discover how to reframe something seen as negative on your application. This could be a career gap, a huge career transition, whatever have you. You're also going to start week 2 off next week with module 3, which is all about how to write your resume like a total pro. So I'm going to talk to you about how to create a resume that stands out. I'm going to share templates with you that you can copy, paste, and tweak. Take the guesswork out of resume. I'm going to share how to translate your strengths into one strong page, even if you've job hopped or you're making a huge career transition. I'm going to show you how to avoid key mistakes that will send your resume straight into the trash. I'm also going to share with you how to brand yourself as a thought leader in your industry. And in week 2, you're also going to get module 4, which is all about how to write your cover letter. And yes, they still do count. And while statistics show that hiring managers don't always read them, data shows that if you're being wavered on, if they're not sure if they want to hire you, they use the cover letter to actually make their final decision. So you're going to discover the key ingredients to an effective cover letter, the 2 key types of cover letters, and which one should be yours. And I'm going to provide templates to take the guesswork out of it for you once again. So in a moment, I'm about to share hundreds of dollars of bonuses that I'm giving away when you join me. First, let me share with you what you get in weeks 3 and 4. So week 3 is where all your efforts are going to translate into meaningful networking meetings with people who can hire you. This week is a game changer. Module 5 is all about targeted networking. This is one of my favorites. You're going to learn exactly what you need to do to get clear on exactly which companies to target for your next move. Schedule meetings with the exact people who are in a position to hire you. Get job offers in a new city or maybe a new country. Who here wants that? Like, who here is looking for a job in a new city? Oh, awesome. Where do you want to go? I see so many of you. London, New York, Denver, Vegas, LA. Awesome. There's so many of you. This is the module that really, really makes a difference for that. You're also going to get a tutorial on how to leverage LinkedIn to find the exact people who can hire you. And believe it or not, we have Sterling down here who got 2 job offers in 3 weeks. So while 80% of the people in this program get an offer within 8 weeks, Sterling upped the ante and he got 2 offers within 3 weeks. And as a result, a reporter at the Washington Post contacted both of us to do a story on it. So we go at a certain pace together as a group, but you can also take it at your own pace if you'd like. In week 3, you're also going to get module 6. I'm so into this one. This focuses totally on cold networking. This is where all of your hard work, all of the foundation that you've laid goes into practice. I always start hearing about clients getting job interviews after this module. You're going to discover my 6-step formula to write cold emails to people who can hire you, emails that inspire people to respond. You're going to learn exactly how to land meetings with hiring managers who can offer you the job that you want. You're going to learn how to leverage your college alumni network. You're also going to, even years after you graduated, by the way, you're also going to learn how to master the art of effective follow-up. Most people do it wrong, and there's a way to keep the door open. Same with how to write thank you emails. There's a way to write them effectively. I'm also going to share all my templates that I've personally used to get huge meetings and really have changed my career. You can copy, paste, and tweak them so that it makes sense for you. These are templates that translated into job offers for me. And there's also a tutorial on how to access the inaccessible power players on Twitter, how to be seen as a thought leader. And it's no secret that by week 4, you're going to have a full calendar of meetings and likely a ton of job interviews pouring in. And that's why you're going to get module 7, which is all about how to master the job interview. So in this content-packed module, you're going to learn how to answer curveball interview questions with ease and with grace. I'm all about the grace. You're also going to get templates with suggested answers that you can use. I'm also going to show you how to build rapport with your interviewer. And again, how to land job offers in a new city, just like Caitlin did, who I showed you earlier, if that's what you're really going for. And in week 4, you're going to get the final training, which is module 8. And then we're about to get into bonuses. I'm so into this module. It really brings me joy. I think this has got to be my favorite one because so many people implement it and get big financial results. I think the course is just worth this module alone. It's roughly an hour. It lights me up because, just like most of the modules, it's roughly an hour. It lights me up because it's where I hear most people are making more money. So you can learn how to find out what employers are paying in your niche. You can negotiate a 20% salary bump or larger before you sign the dotted line. You can learn how to negotiate your salary even when it's allegedly non-negotiable. So as you can see, we're going to cover a ton together during these next 4 weeks as you go through the 8 modules of the Limitless Career Lab. And I'm so excited for you to join me, and I'm excited to get in some of the biggest bonuses. But before we talk about it, a couple students in the course were kind enough to share their experience. So we have Chanel Smith in LA, and we got Liliana Nago in New York. So you can check out what they have to say about this program.
With working with Ashley, I was afraid in the beginning. It was a large financial responsibility, considering I just got engaged and was planning a wedding. So I was afraid, but her sessions are life-changing. Sometimes I think sessions may be something that you think you'll maybe have some insights for and you'll have a little bit of change, but I literally do believe that my life changed with her.
Literally, I broke down the different tips for like what my basic priorities are, what my priorities are in negotiating salary, and I ended up applying it, and I ended up getting a 25% bump in my salary, which was pretty awesome.
You know what? I would say, like, Chanel is right. The Limitless Career Lab is a big investment. In fact, normally the price to join this program is $1,997. But the good news is that because you're on this live training, you're not going to pay anywhere near that. In fact, when you join over the next 15 minutes, I'm about to show you how you're going to get a massive, massive discount as well as some bonuses. But that's not all you're going to get. So here's some of the bonuses that you're going to get today. So bonus number 1, I'm going to give you a free mindset audio so that you can get into a more confident headspace as you prepare to seriously up level. So you can't find this anywhere. It's not something I sell. If I did, it'd be worth at least $97. Bonus number 2, you're going to get a jumpstart audio on success mindset. Excuse me. Oh, no. Bonus number 2. Hello. Bonus number 2, when you join now, you're going to also get lifetime access to me in my private client Facebook group. This is a much bigger deal than you would think. This is the fastest and easiest way to get my support and your questions answered at any point of the week and really at any point of your career well beyond the program. This is where you can get support from my community and my team. You can post your resume. You can get feedback on your elevator pitch. You can get feedback on just about anything going on. A lot of people will post when they have job interviews in there. And you can also find an incredible accountability partner. I can't tell you how much support there is in this group. It's really just a special place for me and my clients together. And another great thing about this group is that people sometimes give each other job opportunities through it, so you can actually network with other job seekers in the program. And look, normally I'm really tough to get access to. My time is limited. I'm busy running a couple companies. I've got to be honest, my private clients even pay me a retainer of $3,000 a month just for my email support. And this Facebook group is kind of that. Like, it's kind of a way just to get me and my community support on tap. And this brings us to bonus number 3, and this is a big one. 1 full year of group coaching calls with me or a member of my team. This is a big one. When you join now, while we're here on this webinar, you're going to have me or a member of my team on tap every other week for an entire year. You can drop in whenever you want to or need to ask whatever career questions are present for you. That's 24 calls over the next 12 months. You have no idea how valuable this is. My private clients pay me $1,200 an hour for my time. So this is $28,800 worth of my time. And here's what's amazing. I limit the number of people who get this. So you're never going to show up on a call with thousands of people on it. So you really do get a lot of one-on-one access to me for your own personal support during these calls. Needless to say, I keep these calls intimate, and that's why you can only get this huge bonus if you join me now while we're here live on the webinar. So these group coaching calls with me are why there is some urgency now. I simply want to keep these calls intimate. So here's what you get when you join me now. You are going to get the full Limitless Career Lab course, which is worth $1,997. This includes 8 modules and 3 tutorials and a full workbook with every template you could ever dream of. I'm talking templates for resume, networking conversations, cover letters, interview questions, cold emails, salary scripts. You're also going to get bonus number 1, the success audio to build up that confidence. You're going to get bonus number 2, which is lifetime access to career support through my private client Facebook group. So you can be in this group asking questions well beyond the course of the program. And then you're also going to get bonus number 3, access to a full year of group coaching calls with me or a member of my team. So this is a real world value of almost $33,000 of my time. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's just what it is. And of course, you're not going to pay that kind of money. That's crazy. In fact, because you're on this training with me, you're not even going to pay the normal price of the Limitless Career Lab. Because I want to thank you for investing the past hour with me, for the next 15 minutes, I've gone crazy, and you're going to get the full course and all the bonuses for less than half of the normal price. And, you're probably, if you're anything like I was, you're probably wondering how you can afford this. That's why, if you need it, I wanted to make this absolute, total, affordable no-brainer. So I've decided to break this up into 3 easy payments of $379. So you just save a bit if you pay in full, but that payment plan is available to help you get those job offers and join me if you need. And again, all you need to do is head on over to landmorejobOffers.com/offer. landmorejobOffers.com/offer. So all you need to do is head on over there to claim your spot. So again, you save a bit if you pay in full, but that payment plan is available to help you get those job offers and join me if it's needed. So what you want to do right now while there's still time is head on over to landmorejobOffers.com/offer. And congratulations, Lisa and Liz. I see that you guys have just headed over there. And you can claim your spot right now with total confidence because you're totally protected by my 30-day satisfaction guarantee. So if you're not satisfied with the quality of this program, just tell us and we're going to give you your money back. No hassles. So you're probably noticing that with 30 days, you can go through the entire 4 weeks of the course, all 8 modules, before you even decide to stick around. I offer this guarantee because I believe in this course and I know what's possible for you in it. So just click landmorejobOffers.com/offer to claim your spot right now with total confidence. I've got your back. You still have about 10 minutes to claim your spot at this price with all the bonuses. Congratulations, Rachel. I see that you just joined me. I'll be emailing you. You'll be getting access to Module 1 right away, as well as an email with the details of the bonuses. And I'm not done yet. I'm going to sweeten this deal by offering you one more huge bonus, only available if you join me now. So my team told me I'm insane to do this, but I have one more fast action bonus available only to the first 7 people who go to landmorejobOffers.com/offer and claim their spot to join me. And in fact, I already know that thanks to a few of you who just joined, that there's only, a few of those spots have already been taken. So I want to offer you something that I've never really heard of being offered before when joining a training like this. And here's why I'm offering a fast action bonus, by the way. I found that the people who have greatest success both with this course and with getting out there and getting a new job are the people who have an ability to make fast decisions and take action. That's something employers want, and there's research to show that that is a trait of true leadership. And so I want to be able to reward you for doing that. So this is why I'm going to reward you with a fast action bonus when you are one of the first 7 people who go to landmorejobOffers.com/offer now in the Limitless Career Lab. You are going to get a one-on-one private coaching call with me or one of my handpicked career coaches so that you can ask anything private, more specific, or more sensitive that may be holding you back from getting that job. It could be something that you don't want to ask about on those group coaching calls or in the private client Facebook group. So just head on over to landmorejobOffers.com/offer to join me now and claim your spot. It looks like there's still a handful of spots left for this one-on-one coaching session. So all of this really just inspires me to ask you, what would it be worth to you? What would it be worth to you to have the ability whenever you need to quickly and easily find a new, higher paying job in a field that you love, in a field that you're appreciated in? How would you feel differently if emotionally you had the tools that you needed to get a dream job right when you needed it and wanted it? Imagine how you would feel financially if you knew on a deeper level that you were sincerely in charge of how much money you could make. How would this impact your personal life and your happiness? Would you travel more? Imagine what you would do with this sort of freedom. Yeah, Exactly. Well, guess what? When you click the button below when you head on over to landmorejobOffers.com/offer, landmorejobOffers.com/offer, and you join me, you don't have to imagine. You can experience the same thing that these people did, and you can just tune on in.
You should definitely take the leap of faith and work with Ashley. It's one of the best things I've done for myself in a long time.
Definitely do it. You know that what do you have to lose? I mean, if you're not happy in your job right now or in your life right now, then, you know, give it a shot and try to do something better.
I made a complete career pivot and was able to get the exact job at the exact company that I wanted at a salary that is perfect for me. It's the smartest investment you could make in a job hunt. If you want to make more money or find the right job for you and you want it to be aligned with your soul, it's the smartest decision you could do as far as an investment goes. You'll make a return on the investment if you put in the work. I love my job. And I'm so happy that I get to do this with the skills that I've learned.
And it was the best decision I've ever made, because where I'm at now in my career is exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I'm only on the incline, and that is all thanks to Ashley.
The return on investment was tenfold. I mean, not even close to what I thought I would be making this soon after working with you. You gave me a good plan.
Don't be scared of what you don't know. If you found this course online, if you came through a referral, however you found this course, it means you're obviously interested in improving yourself, and you don't have anything to lose by joining. You have everything to gain from it. So don't hesitate, because all of the resources you'll need to gain the confidence to go through your job search and get offers, everything's right here. So don't hold back.
You are your best investment, and Ashley will make that so clear. If you listen and do the work, you will get the exact tools that you need to get a new job, to get a raise, to make more money, and to have the most fulfilling life that you didn't, think was possible.
With working with Ashley, I was afraid in the beginning. It was a large financial responsibility, considering I just got engaged and was planning a wedding. So I was afraid, but her sessions are life-changing. Sometimes I think sessions may be something that you think you'll maybe have some insights for, and you'll have a little bit of change, but I literally do believe that my life changed with her. I was able to gain an amount of confidence that I didn't know I had before. I was able to get a new job. I doubled my salary, and there's just this huge weight lifted off of my chest. And I was afraid. I was very, very afraid, but she was so supportive, such a great friend, and just someone that I think is doing a great job with having impact on this world and bringing people to a point where we're at their peak. What can I say? I owe her my life.
So thanks to Chanel right there for sharing that. That is why, honestly, she is why I get out of bed every day. People like Chanel, people like you who are in my shoes, like I was in these shoes. And it would be my personal honor if you join me for the next 4 weeks on this journey of transformation. There's still a couple of those fast action bonus sessions left. So just make sure to head on over right now to landmorejobOffers.com/offer to claim your spot. And if you're having any sort of issues with the form, you can go to support@ashleystahl.com to get some support. All right, support@ashleystahl.com. So just email support@ashleystahl.com, because I see a couple of you are having a hard time. All right. So you stuck with me thus far. I could tell you're interested, and I could tell you're here. So you really have two choices at this point. Number one is the smart choice. You get a new job. You join everybody here in the Limitless Career Lab who have made this choice, who will be in my course on those group coaching calls, taking action, moving towards their job offers. Or more of the same. You go to a job that you know isn't helping you grow into the person you want to be, yearning for more purpose and more meaning in your job, yet not finding it, counting down until 5 p.m., feeling that pit in your stomach when on Sunday nights, knowing that Mondays are coming, feeling like you could do more in your life. So all you need to do right now is head on over to landmorejoboffers.com/offer to claim your spot. There's still some minutes left for you to do that. So you just have a few minutes left to cash in on all the bonuses I mentioned. Just head on over to landmorejoboffers.com/offer right now. If you're having a hard time registering, email support@ashleystahl.com. And if you're one of the first 7, you'll be hearing from me to schedule that fast action bonus private coaching session. All right, so there's some FAQs that I hear all the time about the course, and I want to share them with you now if you're not sure this is a fit for you. First question is, will this work for me? So this program is for you if your top priority is to get a new job. 80% of my clients get a job offer within 8 weeks. Many of them get more. This is for you if your sole focus is getting a new job. Am I too old? This program is gender neutral, age neutral, and it's also industry neutral. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, what sector you work in, what gender you are. And even though I'm set in the media, they call me the career coach for millennials. This is really for anybody who's looking to master the job hunt effectively. The next question is, do I need private coaching? If your primary goal is to get a new job, the Limitless Career Lab is the most affordable way that I know how to make that happen. However, if you're grappling with one of 2 issues, private coaching is in fact a better match for you. So number 1, if you're drawing a total blank on what you want to do with your life, you have no idea, you're drawing a complete blank, then this is not the right fit for you. Or number 2, if you're battling complete confidence issues, then this isn't the right fit for you either. So if either of those are your situation and you want a private coach, contact support@ashleystahl.com for that. All right, another question is this the right time? So the best time to look for a job is when you don't need a job. Networking is incredibly effective when it's totally heartfelt and there is no agenda. For this reason, whether you're graduating in 6 months or completing something over the next 6 months, this is a great time for you to do the legwork and have job offers waiting for you when you're ready for them. Or alternatively, it's definitely the right time for you if you want a new job now. Is my culture too different? This is a great question. I highly recommend this course if you do not live in the United States, if you're in a different culture. One thing I learned having lived in Europe for years is that they're not as assertive in their networking strategies. And this is really going to be a refresh button for you if you join me at landmorejoboffers.com/offer. This course is really going to make a difference for you in that regard. Do I need a college degree? No, you don't. I'm all about education, but networking is what this course is really going to show you how to do. And when you know how to network, where you went to school, how much money you have, your degree, it all becomes much less relevant. Networking well is about your personality and your ability to make people comfortable. Will this help if I'm making a career pivot? Yes, absolutely. If your focus is on job offers, if you need clarity, you would better be served with a private coach, which is much more expensive. Private coaching is much more of an investment. But this course is a good fit for you if you, know what you want to do. This is going to help you build a brand new network that helps you get those job offers you're excited about. So as promised, here's what you're going to see happen when you go on over to landmorejoboffers.com/offer and you reserve your spot. First of all, you're going to get a new job faster because you're going to learn how to masterfully network and create opportunity for yourself. Secondly, you're going to learn how to make more money by getting so much interest in yourself that you end up leveraging multiple offers. And as promised, there's a 30-day guarantee, satisfaction guarantee on this. So if you don't agree that this is a good quality course, which is really the last thing I'm worried about, you can get your money back. So I'm about to sign off. We are out of time. Thanks so much for being here. And congratulations again to those of you who joined me. I'm so excited to meet you in the Facebook group and in my coaching calls. You're going to get an email within the hour after you register at landmorejoboffers.com/offer. If you haven't already, it's going to give you immediate access to Module 1 as well as all the details for you to cash in on your bonuses. And if you need any support at all, if you have any trouble claiming your spot, feel free to email support@ashleystahl.com. We're totally here for you. We are committed to your success. So make sure you head on over to landmorejoboffers.com/offer. right now. As you can see, we are going to be closing the doors any minute. So the time is just about up. If you do click the button at landmorjoboffers.com, if you do make it to the site after I sign off and there's nothing there, I'm really sorry you missed us. That means the doors are closed. If you do see the order form after I get off this webinar, you lucked out, and I'm so excited that you're going to be locking in your spot to join us on your job hunt. So with that said, I'm just going to look through some questions. All right. Well, with that said, thanks so much for you guys. I see that all of you are just saying thanks so much. Congratulations. I see some of you registered. I'm so excited. So again, if you head on over to landmorejoboffers.com/offer and you get a blank page, it's because registration is closed. If you luck out and you see that there's that the form is showing up, then you can go ahead and claim your spot. And with that, I thank you for being here with me, and I wish you a beautiful day.